fewer Americans see religion as an influence. So according to Pew Research from January 2021, America was at the top of the list of developed nations that believed that the big sickness that's been going around has made their religious convictions stronger, when 3 in 10 adults reported a boost in their faith. However, 6 months later, or now, the annual Values and Beliefs poll conducted by Gallup shows a significant decrease in religious influence on U.S. society. Now, only 16% of Americans claim that the impact of religion is increasing in society. The last notable significant increase in Americans' perceptions of religious influence on society came after the catastrophe of the 9/11 attacks. Disasters aside, religion is slowly decreasing its societal power in a slow yet steady trend in America. In April 2020, the same Gallup poll showed that 58% of American adults believe that religion is losing its influence, and that number is up to 82% this year. In 2020, for the first time in 80 years, the number of churchgoers plummeted below 50%, down to 47%.
Okay, I have a question. Is there any way to see how many people who label themselves as Christian or any other religion think the influence of religion is less? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, let me go to
like,
the poll and I'll see if they provide that.
Basically, I want to separate. So let's say more people in the US think the influence of religion is like getting less and less, okay? Some of that is probably because a lot of people are becoming less religious themselves, right? Or becoming non-religious. So if you are non-religious and you are asked about the influence of religion, you might be like, meh, right? I don't think it's that influential. But I wonder how many of the people who like, yeah, I'm a Christian, and at the same time, I don't think religion has that much of an influence. And what do we mean exactly by influence? Like, what kind of influence are we talking about? In their own lives, or just like in the US? Oh, in the US, it says in the US. Like, what does that? Do we know what they mean specifically? What do they mean by in politics, in people's daily lives? It's not very clear to me. And also, this is
they don't really see here like an influence on a specific institution, at least in what I'm seeing on the Gallup website. They may have asked more specific questions in the poll, but I'm not seeing it like how they're measuring what this influence is seen in. But to answer your question, they do have a little bit of information on the beliefs of the demographics that were polled. So I just see Protestant, Catholic, and no religion, and in terms of religious identities that are actually listed in this poll. So
I do want to remind people that this is not about the actual religious influence being reduced. This is basically measuring people's perception of religious influence, right? So it could be religious influence is going down and down and down, but this is not what this is measuring. This is measuring what Americans' perceptions are of the influence of religion, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, okay. There are two different things, right? Don't be like, oh yeah, look, this shows religion has less influence. This, even if that is true, this does not show that. This just shows how perceptions are changing. You want to say something?
It's really interesting too, because if you look at it, because this is basically, we see this spike in how people poll on this question. And so in 2018, it was low. And then, since did I say 2018? I meant 2019. Since 2019, we saw a big spike. And then nowadays, we're seeing it below what it was before even 2019.
Oh,
So we see a spike, and then in most demographics, it drops even lower than
What
it
was the
before.
reasoning behind the spike?
Disaster, really.
So this
You know?
disaster. Oh yeah. Okay.
There's disaster and uncertainty in people's lives.
They want
and
stability.
They want stability and probably like emotional relief and comfort.
So how has this pandemic not made the same impact? Like it did initially, but then it stopped. Then it went down all the way.
No, it's been I think the driving force of this impact.
Yeah, but
Because
initially,
it was low.
Go ahead.
And then we see this spike in 2020, and then now we see a drop below. So I think like we see this spike because people are scared, and when we're scared, we're more emotional, and we look towards what is familiar to provide us a steady foundation, that we can feel secure. For a lot of people, probably most of people in this country come from a religious background of some form. That's probably what they go to because it provides answers in their life.
I know, but that's
this is where I'm speculating is that as things continued, they saw, well, one, they couldn't actually attend services in person. So I think that has an impact. And two, maybe they see that boost in faith actually doesn't lead to changes in their life.
So
pure speculation on my part.
So what it seems like, right, is that initially this pandemic was a boost to religion because people feel like stability. Okay, let's just hang on to God. This is my academic, review of this study. Okay, like this is like a very specific technical term. Okay, all right, but then once they saw that maybe because of lack of the ability to go to church, and maybe also seeing that religion was not providing the answer, and maybe also a mix of looking at the scientific community and the doctors and blah 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 and the government or whatever, seeing that as a source of actually security and answers and blah blah blah, right? Like, oh my God, science, like it seems like nature screwed us, and science is like saving us, maybe, right? So maybe their reliance on source of stability shifted. So initially it seemed like this pandemic was a boost to religion, but as it went on, it seemed like not only that initial boost was canceled, it also went down to historic lows. Correct? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for some demographics. So for example, for Protestants, there was in 2019, starting off as a percentage of 18% of Americans adults think that the influence of religion is increasing in society. So for Protestants, starting off at 18%. Then in April 2020, going up to 43%. Now May 2021, down to 15%. Right. So that's a loss of 3 percentage points. For Catholics, it was at 19, went to 35%, then 19%. So not a loss overall. But for people who said that they have no religion, it went from 20% to 31% to 13%.
Glenn in the live chat is saying, Jesus loves you, Susanna. Jesus loves you too, Armin. Glenn, if you have connections to Jesus, can you please tell him for one last time that no means no? All right? Like that man does not understand personal boundaries, does not understand that you have to let go, okay? If you love somebody and that person does not show interest and they don't love you back, stop. This is like getting borderline harassment, right? This is borderline harassment, okay? I understand that we are lovable. Me and Susanna are extremely lovable, so I can't blame Jesus, but we just don't love him back. Just move on. Move on. There are plenty of other people, Jesus. Just stop it. This is getting like you're acting incredibly desperate. It's not a good look, Jesus. Just stop it. Just stop. All right.
Wait, I have one more interesting fact about this story.
Why?
So, again, this is polling people's perception that religion is increasing its influence. So it's they're polling for a very specific belief about if you think that there's an increase in religious influence. And so We're at a current 16% of Americans who think that this influence is increasing, which is only 2 percentage points above the historical low of polling about this belief. The lowest being 14% registered in 1969 and 1970 polls. So I thought that was very interesting, as we're almost at a historic low. And I just liked the fact that there's also the flip side of people who think that religion is losing its influence. And this year, 82% of people, or Americans, according to these polls, think that religion is losing its influence. So I was like,
all right.
I don't know. A lot of the news that we've been covering this year, especially over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of new statistics coming out about faith in America, and regarding even specific denominations. And I think religion is going the way of the dinosaurs, like way faster than anticipated in America.
Yeah. Yeah, proves me right. A lot of people think I'm too optimistic. I'm not. You're gonna be surprised. I think 50 years from now, when we do a stream, I'm gonna be like, guys, you thought I was being naive and optimistic, too optimistic. I wasn't optimistic enough. Look at what's happening. Look, this video, save this video. I'm gonna be like, ha, you guys thought I was being naive and optimistic. Look at what's happening. I was underselling the whole thing, right? All right.
I'm excited to see the results in other countries as well. I think we're going to see a huge shift in our lifetime. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.